What's up, everybody? I am Destroyer, your coach of the Washington Wake Pokemon Draft League team, and we are in week 6 of SPDA. We are going up against Willow's Wisps this week. Let's have a look at the teams here. He is mono electric, which is pretty cool. My first mono team in gym was electric, but it's a great type defensively, I guess, because it only has one weakness, which is ground, and it has several levitate and flyers in it. Gotta watch out for his Iron Hands. We gotta watch out for static on Zapdos, and he has a number of good threats there and a great amount of speed. First up, we are going to bring Darkrai. We are bringing it with a Lumberry this week because he has so many things that can paralyze us, and I kind of think that status is going to come into this match. Nasty Claw, and with these moves, it has good coverage into most of his team for a potential late game sweep. We are bringing our Screamtail with Wish, Stealth Rock, Roar, and Psychic Noise. One of the weaknesses in his type is his only hazard removal on his team is Oricorio, so we want to get some hazards out there and abuse that a little bit. We are going to bring in Blood Moon Ursaluna, Calm Mindset this week. Gotta bring our one ground type into his mono electric team, of course. Did really good for us last week as well. Next week we are bringing Dragonite also with a Lumberry, because I am worried about Rotoms wisping us or otherwise being paralyzed. Dragon Dance, Roost, Extreme Speed, and there's minimal dragon resists. There's only one fairy that's a Terra Fairy on his team, so I'm hoping that we can do a setup with Dragon Dance and do some Outrage sweeping. We are bringing a season premiere of our Terra Captain Carkol. Holding Eevee Light because it is a middle evolution. It's quite bulky with that. We have Terra Grass, which seems like it has good coverage into most of his team defensively. We just want to set up some spikes and stay alive a little bit to do some chips. Also use that as our Rabbit Spinner in case he brings rocks. We are bringing Pecharunt, especially defensive, Recover Toxic, Malignant Chain, and Hex. Just want to spread around some poison and some status, and use this just as our main wall. It looks good in most of his team. The Shuka Berry is there for Earthquake, which can be held by a couple of his Mon. So that's who we're bringing, and let's get into this fight. Okay, everybody, we're getting into the fight here. Picked the lead really fast. We actually had a disconnect initially. So I'm going with Carkol here. I'm also doing a post-com. I wasn't able to do a live reaction, unfortunately. It was a fun fight, so I'm looking forward to going through it again. We are leading our Carkol into his Rotom Wash. We're Terra Grass. We're kind of forced to go into our Terra Grass here, just because he has the ability to OHKO us with a Hydro Pump. So we go Terra Grass, and we just want to start stacking some hazards here. Break down his Iron Hands and some of the bulky Mon on his team. And he's got just Oricorio on his team that might be able to defog against us, but don't know his set at this point. See what he does here. Kind of expect a Volt Switch. He goes for a Will-O-Wisp. We unfortunately do not have Flash Fire this week on Bluey. Smart move on his part if he wanted to test out and see what our ability was. So now he knows we're not Flash Fire, and we're actually Flame Body this week. We get our spikes out. What do we do here now? I think just go according to Screamtail here. I think he's going to probably switch out since he knows he can't do much to us now. And Screamtail's got a decent matchup in most of his team. We can also get our... he goes with Volt Switch. We can also get Stealth Rock out, which we have on Screamtail, and kind of begin the hazard stack here. The spikes help against half his team, but he also has 2 flying types and a Rotom, so the rocks will help out a lot versus those types. See who he brings in. I think maybe Iron Hands. This was a few nights ago, so I can't really remember exactly. He brings in Jolteon, which is interesting. Because Iron Hands can have like Heavy Slam, which would do a significant amount of damage to Screamtail. So I'm kind of wondering if he actually has that move on his Iron Hands. So I think we're pretty bulky here with Tanya. I think we just go for a Wish here, or do I actually get the Stealth Rock off? I think either move would be appropriate here. Wish would probably be safer, but we'll go ahead and get the rocks off here. Kind of looking at the calc, it doesn't seem like there's a lot that it can do to us. This is one of his Terra Captains. It can be Terra Fairy, Grass, or Ice, I believe. And that actually did quite a bit. I wasn't thinking about Shadow Ball. And he got the special defense drop on it too, which is really an issue for us, because that means that another one of those is going to kill us. Even with it being super effective, I'm running the calculator here, and he has to be choice specs for it to do as much as it did, even with that super effective damage. So I'm looking at that now, and knowing that he is choice specs, I think we can comfortably switch into a couple of different things here. We could go into our Darkrai, we could go into our Blood Moon as well. Looks like we opt for the Darkrai. Let's see if he stays in. He withdraws. He's playing really well and predicting that. Why are we going to stay in when we know we're going to die? And expertly doubles into his Iron Hands here, which is good into both of my Mon that are resistant to Shadow Ball. So both of mine, I got a normal type and a dark type here, and so I just got to go back out to Peach. Peach is fairly safe into Iron Hands here, and Iron Hands is really a key mon for his team. One of the weaknesses with electric type is it doesn't have a lot of physical attackers. It looks like I actually go into Bluey here, maybe scouting for an Earthquake. I also have Flame Body, so I'm hoping that I can catch. He goes for an Earthquake, so this is actually better than going into Peach. Does nothing. I'm just hoping that we can get him to start punching us, because we've got a 1 in 3 chance of getting him burnt if he hits us with a contact move. So I think we just go to try and... I think we do Fire Spin here, yep. Because if he goes into one of his Rotoms or Flying types, the Scorching Sand isn't going to do much. This will at least do some chip to something. See what he does here. He missed the Fire Spin, unfortunately. Would have given us a little bit. Oh, and he's got, unfortunately, Ice Punch. We don't get our Flame Body, but that's okay. We're going to go for a Scorching here. Maybe we can get him with a Scorching Sand. 1 in 3 chance burn. We're giving it a shot. Let's see what he does. He's deciding, does he want to stay in and keep risking getting burnt by Flame Body, since he does not know what my ability is. Could also be Steam Engine. He's got Shuka. It's unfortunate for me, so that barely does anything. Do we get the burn? Do not get the burn. Ice Punch. We survive. Do we get the burn there? We do not, and we succumb to our own burn, unfortunately. Okay, so Carcol's gone. I think we could come in with Peach here. We have a Shuka on our own Peach. So even though he's got Earthquake, I think we can still eat it pretty decently with this. Maybe get some Toxic spread to him, or hit him with Malignant Chain. I think we go in and just get him, shoot off a Toxic. He doesn't really have anything that's immune to Toxic, and Toxic just goes really hard into his team overall here. So let's give that a shot. Fire off the Toxic. Does he stay in? I mean, Iron Hands, we don't know what his item is. I'm kind of thinking he's AV, but most of the damage that he's taken so far is from Hazard, so it's kind of hard to tell. Get him poisoned. We'll get our annoying Peach Confusion on him. Can he hit through it? He can. Our Shuka helps us out. And how much is this Earthquake going to do? Not much. I think it's about 20%. So the next one, well, maybe it's going to do 30 to 40% if we take another. Actually, is that even 20%? About 15 to 20 maybe? 15. Hex here does a decent chunk to him. Let's see if he actually wants to stay in though, because he is confused. His Iron Hand is kind of a crucial mon, but there's no sense in us over predicting at this point. Peach is doing okay. Peach actually has a pretty good matchup into most of his team here. And we're fairly healthy until we take another Earthquake. I think even full strength Earthquake will have us above half health, and we can do a recover if we do get hit. So he goes ahead and withdraws, so we're hitting something with an unboosted Hex here. A little decent chip there, we'll take that. He's got leftovers, it looks like. I think we just go ahead and do Toxic again here, right? Because there's no... I mean, he can bring Iron Hands back in. But we're fine. We're okay with the Iron Hands matchup. And we're just going to be able to out-survive it and let Toxic do a little bit of work. So we just go for Toxic, assuming that he maybe Volt switches out or stays in. He stays in, so we'd love to have Rotom poisoned. Got a few things on his team that are threats to our Blood Moon, but we're kind of hoping that maybe we can eliminate a couple of those threats. This Rotom wash, and great, we get some nice confusion hacks there. Yeah, Rotom and Iron Hands are two of the main threats for our bear there. Of course, he does have ways to hit ground types with most of his mon in some capacity. Oricorio and Jolteon are both Terra Captains. That does a nice chunk for us. His confusion ends. I believe his Oricorio can be Terra Water, among other things, but that's the one that hits ground out of his types, and he has got ice as well as grass on his Jolteon. So he does have ways to hit Ursaluna, and so really it seemed like Ursaluna was a great into this team for being a mono electric, but he's got ways to deal with it, or at least hurt it a lot with a number of his mon. Go for a recover here. He wisps us. We are faster than him. And that pain split can be quite annoying. I mean, we can just kind of keep healing. A Hex might be able to kill him here, but I'm not sure that it can. I think we might be just out of Hex range or very close, and my concern is that if I Hex him and he lives on 1 HP and has a pain split, that I'm going to be left with just a severely injured Peach into whatever else he brings in next. And Peach is crucial for me here, so I opt just to switch into something else instead here. So preserve the Peach is the game plan. We're bringing in Tanya. She's got some damage already, so if he pain splits, which he does, it doesn't change things that much. He gets another turn of Toxic. With leftover damage, we're about the same as what where we were before the pain split there. So next up, I'm kind of trying to decide: do I Psychic Noise or do I Wish? I'm not actually sure if Psychic Noise works on Pain Split. I've never tried it before, but I'm trying it here. That's the goal here anyways, is to keep this thing from pain splitting us. He goes for the Wisp instead, and so we don't actually find out. And I think that the poison kills him on this turn here. Because Psychic Noise obviously stops healing moves. I just don't know if Pain Split is a healing move or a... I mean, it's kind of special, right? Because it heals a lot of the time, but depending on who you use it on, it's not always a healing move. So that's something that I probably should look up at some point and still haven't, even a couple days after this match has been over. Worked out though. Would have been nice to wish there though, because I wished and then did that. I'd be in a much better spot given that he did the will-o-wisp there. We still got half health on Tanya here. Tanya at this point with just half health is going to be, and with the burn as well, it's kind of minimal value to us other than kind of a sack at this point, unless we can get her healed up. So I kind of think at this point we just stay in and do a wish. I'm tempted to bring in Ursaluna here because it's immune to Shadow Ball as well as electric moves, obviously, but I'm worried that he's going to kind of try and call that. It was for Thunderbolt, so I should have done that. Yeah, I'm worried that that's just the obvious play, and he's going to do a Terra, Grass, or Ice, and just blast the shit out of our Ursaluna. So why I didn't do that. So now we do know he's choice locked, so we can go into a free switch into Blood Moon here, which I think is what we do. Let's see what Willow does here. And he calls it. Good play to Willow there. He knows that I know that he's choice, and that the obvious play there is for me to bring in Ursaluna, which I did. So he's bringing in his Iron Hands versus my Blood Moon. Blood Moon is naturally faster than Iron Hands, but this is not really a matchup that I want to stay in and risk it on, because he very easily could have invested some speed in this thing, and it's a pretty close speed matchup. So I think what I do is I just go back into Peach on this one. If he earthquakes us, ouch, but we can survive that and heal up. That seems like it's the smartest play in this situation. Don't want him to start healing up with a Drain Punch. Lucky for us with the hazards that we have out, as well as poison on Iron Hands. Now it is definitely on a clock, especially if he wants to keep bringing it in and out. He goes for the Drain Punch, so excellent. Glad we got the free switch into Peach there after giving him the free switch into Iron Hands. And I think we just Hex here. I think a Hex is enough to kill him. It is. So down goes Iron Hands. Huge piece on his team. That is out of here. Let's see who he brings in now, because again, Peach has a good matchup into most of his team. Very annoying Pokemon to kill. Super physically defensive, enough so that for this match I was able to just I think I did like a bold nature, so it has the nature for the physical defense. Okay, and so this makes sense. He can hit us with these Shadow Balls and do quite a bit to us. So this is where, again, I'm tempted to go into Ursaluna, but a little bit scared. I don't want to be eating the choice spec Shadow Balls. So this is where having Tanya still alive is really nice, because especially versus what we believe / know is a choice Mon, she's basically just kind of a free switch in for another Mon, and he'll be choice locked into something here, and we'll be able to make a wise choice into what we switch into after that. He goes for an Alluring. Okay, so nice call on his part there too, because he knew I was not going to be sticking around with Peach. Otherwise, no way he does Alluring on a choice set there. So there's no reason not to come back in with Peach here. We could come in with Bear, maybe, and just start Calm Minding. Alluring Voice is doing super effective damage to half of our remaining team here, Darkrai and Dragonite. It's his only move without Terra-ing that is doing neutral damage to Blood Moon, and we are just going to maintain our annoying toxicity here. We're poisoning something. Does he stay in with Jolteon? These hazards are putting a lot of pressure on Jolteon, so he actually just stays in. And it looks like he is opting to just kind of sack Jolteon at this point. Especially now that if he wasn't fully committed to that before that turn, him being poisoned now, as well as a layer of spikes and rocks being up, he's really only got a couple turns left here with Jolteon. We just recover here. We just want to stay healthy. Confusion helps us out there. And I think it's annoying, but I think we just go ahead and recover again here. It's not a lot that we're going to be hurt, but this thing is likely going to die to poison on the next turn. And or if it swaps out, it's in range of just dying to the hazards when it comes back in. So none of our moves are going to actually land and matter versus this thing. So we just heal. We do waste one of our recovers, but this is the best play to get every little last bit of health we can for Peach. And Jolteon goes down. Who do we have next? Zapdos. Okay. Zapdos also does not want to be poisoned. So again, we're being annoying with Peach, but this is our best way to make progress right now, is just to get Zapdos toxic. He misses a Hurricane. Thank goodness gracious for us. That is a really nice advantage for us every time we have a missed Hurricane, because those things can be doing pretty good damage. I believe I calculated it out though, and even if he's specs on this thing, he's doing about half max to us with a landed Hurricane. So now that he's poisoned, we can just kind of ooh, that did quite a bit. I may have been wrong about the specs calculation there. Well, at this point he has not shown off what his item is. He's only used Hurricane. But that puts us in a rough spot because we are within range for another Hurricane here. Let's see if he can... oh, and he's out of his confusion. He lands another Hurricane. Do we survive? On 15. So thank goodness. It felt like he did about half. That could have been a roll as far as surviving there. And we just got to keep this thing alive at this point. We just keep recovering and let the poison do its work here against Zapdos. Thankfully he misses. Really giving us some help there by the Hurricane hacks, but that's kind of how Hurricane works, unfortunately. And again, just like we did, I think we just go ahead and do another recover here, just in case he lands a Hurricane. Or do we actually swap out into something else? Looks like we're going to swap into Dante here. I remember kind of calculating, and Hurricane does not kill our Dante here, and so I'm really just kind of looking at getting some positioning and keeping Peach as healthy as possible, I guess. So in hindsight, I'm not sure this was the greatest move. Let's see, he goes for a Light Screen, which was really surprised me. He dies, he's got Light Screen up. And he's got his Oricorio left. who is his last mon? Oh, and he's got Electivire. So honestly, I probably should have just kept in... I was not expecting the light screen though, so I kind of expected that. I just wanted Dante to be able to be in here and be able to apply some pressure on whatever's coming in. So he's got Oricorio. It's not Boots. We can see that. I think we just attack it here. Or we just go back into Peach. Yeah, so this whole thing exchange was totally pointless. You know what? We don't attack it because he's got light screen and he's also quite possibly probably have Quiver Dance. Could maybe hit it with like a Psyshock or something like that. I do have some PTSD related to Oricorios from EDC week 1. We were in a pretty close match, and then we ended up just getting set up on and swept by a Quiver Dance Oricorio. So he's got Quiver Dance, and at this point I'm thinking we just got to get this thing poisoned. If we can get this thing poisoned, we should be okay. So we just go for the Toxic here. See what he does. Hits us with a Hurricane, which does quite a bit. And the confusion there is absolutely terrifying. Let's see. We hurt ourselves in confusion, and suddenly we are in what seemed like a pretty comfortable position, and we're in a really scary spot right now because we're close to being killed by another Hurricane, or maybe even a Terra Blast, and we do not have him poisoned because we had that confusion as well as hurting ourselves in confusion there. So I'm trying to look at, oh my gosh, what are my options here? I don't really have any better ones, so I'm staying in. I'm going to hope that I can hit him with a Toxic. We have a chance there because Hurricane missed. He's about 50% on these Hurricanes so far. And thank goodness we get Oricorio poisoned. That means at least he is on a clock here. He cannot just indefinitely Quiver Dance and sweep and roost on us. So lefties are slowly healing him here. I believe he's +1 at this point with his special defense and attack. No idea what his stat spread is. Usually pretty physically bulky on these Quiver Dance sets, and I think I just stay in and recover just in case maybe he misses with another Hurricane or hurts himself in confusion. A lot of confusion in this matchup. He goes for Revelation Dance. Is it enough to kill us? It is. So down goes Peach. Lucky, lucky, lucky for us to have that Hurricane miss. It was unlucky for us to get the confusion, as well as hurting ourselves in confusion the turn before, but super, super good luck for us to have that missed Hurricane after that. Otherwise, if this thing is not poisoned, I'm not sure that we have a way to beat it at this point, because it's Terra Water. It can take out our Blood Moon. It's going to be faster than our Dante after one dance, and so we would have had to rely on Dragonite potentially taking this thing out with an Outrage. But I think at this point, what do? We're trying to kind of decide how are we going to win this at this point. We need a little bit more chip, ideally on Oricorio before coming in and being able to finish it off with an Outrage. So we go for just a little bit of chip and time wasting with Dante here. Let the poison do its work. We also have to preserve resources for his Electivire in the back. We don't know what Electivire is. He can be a mixed attacker. Okay, snaps out of his confusion. Goes for another Quiver on us. So he's definitely faster. Well, this is my fastest mon, so he's already been faster than us. To pretty good amount of chip there, honestly, for a +2 special defense. That's more than I thought it would do. Okay, poison is doing its work for us here too, and really it looks like that even if it kills us here on this next turn, he's after the poison damage, he's going to be within range for an extreme speed revenge kill. So let's see what he does. He hurricanes us. This one lands, and we manage to survive it. And we get a big crit there. I think maybe poison would have killed him anyways. Unclear. He might have had one extra turn there. So we were able to preserve Darkrai. Give Darkrai at least one more turn into his Electivire here. He's not Boots. I think we just go for Dark Pulse. Not going to be able to kill him, but maybe we can use some Chip. He goes first and has a useless crit against us. He goes first, but what that tells us is that he is Choice Scarf. So he's Choice locked into Ice Punch. We have 2 Mon left that are weak to Ice, so that's not a terrible move to be locked into for him. Either one of these should be able to survive at least one hit from him, with Multiscale on our Dragonite and Bigger Bear just being a very bulky thing. We're max defense and HP on this thing are pretty close. So I think we just come in with Dragonite here and do an Outrage. Hope that we don't get frozen. Outrage should kill, unless he's just like a super bulky build on this thing. So we just go for it, and let's see what happens. He Ice Punches us, we survive it, and we get frozen! Oh, but luckily we have our Lumberry, which we were expecting to use on a burn, but we will take it in the situation. We respond with the Outrage, and we are able to win this match, so good game to Willow. And yeah, we are now 5-2 in SPDA. I'm sorry, we're 4-4 and we're 5-1. So we'll see you guys next week.